Hello everybody, happy Monday, welcome back to the stream. How are y'all doing? That's good. Alright, so today, I don't know, we have a lot to do. There's a lot of like random things I want to do, but I should probably stay focused on the big things that need to be done. So anyway, yeah, before we get into what we're doing, let's go ahead and take a look at the Steam page for Alchemortis. Go ahead and wishlist it if you are interested in dark fantasy roguelite auto battlers. I would appreciate that. I would appreciate that very much. You can also support the game on Patreon if you subscribe at the $15 tier here. I'm going to send you an Alchemortis Steam key when the game launches, and your name will be listed in the in-game Alchemortis credits. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely check that out. Again, you only need to subscribe to this for 1 month, and then you'll get those perks. And then you can also purchase my Udemy courses. The links for those are in the description below. These will teach you how to build complete games in the Godot engine, and it also goes a long way to helping me out as well. All right. So let's say hello to everybody before we get into it. Hello, Fira, welcome back. Thank you, thank you. Clickertail, welcome. Nathan, welcome back. Hello, V, welcome. Did anyone join the Brackies Jam? I have not. Nope. But would be interested to hear if anyone else has. Magma Sloth, hello, welcome. Good to see you. Sankuko, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Hello, Cruel World and all who inhabit it. Hello, Courier Games. Hello, Asymmetrics, welcome. Good to see you all again. So I still have a lot of work to do with the UI UX for the unlock system, as I was mentioning. And I did do a little bit of work last night on this. I now have the ability to show card packs in this unlock screen, which is really nice. I still have some concerns about that, but basically, this is the card packs. This is what it looks like when it's unlocked. So it just puts a little grid in the left-hand side here, and then puts all the cards in that grid. Then I can swap over to artifacts. I can look at my artifacts, and then I can go back to my card packs here. Now there is a problem, which is that I want to show all of the cards that you can unlock. Like, I want to show every card is locked until you acquire it in game, unless the card is part of a card pack. So there's going to be a little bit of, not necessarily weird logic, but I need a separate place to show all the individual cards, I think, and that would probably go in the encyclopedia. But it's going to be a little bit weird to be able to see cards that you haven't acquired yet come out of the pack, any locked packs, but then all the other cards are like locked until you find them. I don't know, I just want to have some kind of element of discovery for the different things that you can find in the game. But yeah, so this is a work in progress. Obviously we could do work on this today. I still have to figure out what I want to do about this flavor text here, because it's not looking too hot. But, and then of course building out the encyclopedia is going to be another whole thing. Characters, that's going to be an interesting one as well. Maybe I should get the characters working. But yeah, we'll see. Have you noticed some players do not like or play tutorials at all? Yes, I have noticed that. I am one such player. I will basically just skip every tutorial that any game throws at me. So I'm a part of the problem. I'm a proud part of the problem. There are players who hold every opinion under the sun, yeah. Hello, Lamatos, welcome. Creators even. Like, I'm the kind of player where, like, if you're gonna throw me into like a 15-minute tutorial sequence at the beginning of the game, like, I don't want to play your game anymore. Like, I literally, I've never enjoyed that. Ever since I was a kid, I would just, like, I wouldn't read the video game manuals, I wouldn't play the tutorials. I just wanted to be thrown right into it. So that's, you know, one of the big barriers for me to playing like Red Dead Redemption 2, for instance, is that there's like that hour-long prologue that's basically just an extended tutorial, and I was like bored out of my mind. I almost quit. But anyway, would you like to play the tutorial? Best question ever. Absolutely not. Go away forever. Thank you. I love this game already. Yeah. I think tutorials should feel natural to the point that a player doesn't know they're in a tutorial. Yeah, and like, I don't need a 15-minute tutorial for a game that is like just a first-person shooter. You know what I mean? Like, I know how to run, I know how to shoot, I know how to jump. Maybe there's like 1 or 2 unique controls that you can show me through like a tooltip or whatever, but I don't need a tutorial like for how to play your first-person shooter game. Thank you. Now, if it was like a really interesting, like unique game that is not obvious how you should play it, then yeah, obviously, you know, pay attention to that. But chances are I know how to play your game already. Mechanics should be introduced gradually. Map should expand slowly. Start of Red Dead is absolute garbage. When I was a kid, I used to read the booklet on the way home. It was part of the hype to play the game. Oh, there you go. I love tutorials. I love tutorials, yeah. Well, everyone's different. Everyone's different. Oh, there's so much work to do. There's so much work to do. What do we want to do here? Maybe I should get the character unlocks working next and see how that's going to work. I guess that seems reasonable to me. We'll just get it all functionally working, and then we're going to figure out what to do about this art and whatnot. There's one thing here that's bothering me, though. This isn't long enough, so I might just go ahead and fix this right now. So this is what? This is 2 pixels, so I need this to be 4 more pixels down. So let's go to my unlock mockup. We're going to go to the interior part here. Let's move this up 4 pixels. I just realized that A-Sprite has a little delta indicator down at the bottom. Oh, you can't see it on the stream, but in the bottom toolbar, there's a little delta that tells you what the change in XY value is when you're moving something, which is pretty nifty. I don't think it works for selections, though, which is kind of weird. Anyway. Okay. What is going on over here? Okay. I think I called this inner panel, but I'm not sure. Let's make sure. Well, YOLO, I guess. Boom. Oh, look at that. It fixed. It's good. All right. So that is now stretching to the bottom as it should be. All right, let's get the characters functional now. I think I have a good pattern going on here for the different unlock types, so we'll just go ahead and set that up. So we do characters button dot pressed plus equals on characters pressed. Private void on characters pressed. Clear unlocks, and then show card packs, show artifacts, so show characters. Let's do private void. Show characters. For each of our character and all character unlock resources. So yeah, we're probably going to want to... Actually, do I want to do that? All character IDs? I'm going to need to extend this anyway. Oh, do I not have character IDs? Oh, character... Do I have a character registry? I do. Okay. Character registry dot all IDs. Okay, so var character definition is equal to character registry from ID character. We also need the unlock registry. Private static read only. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do dictionary, string, character, unlock definition resource, character ID to character unlock resource. Is that right? Artifact ID? Yeah, character ID. Right. Else if resource is character unlock definition resource. Character ID. Did I not fill this out? Let's see. Data unlock character priestess. Oh, this is just a normal, what? No. Oh, we're good. I just need to add the character ID in here. Do I want to do the character ID here, or do I want to do the character definition resource? Well, if I do this, I should probably do that for everything else. That might be a better way of doing it, actually. No, I actually don't want to do that. I just want to use string IDs because I'm doing all the data operations through the registry and I'm dealing with a bunch of like duplicated versions of the resource. So I think assigning the resource ahead of time can actually cause some problems. What problems those are, I don't know at the moment, but I think I'm pretty sure I thought about this before and decided not to go that direction. So let's just do public string character ID. Okay, character ID to unlock resource. That should work. I'm going to need to fill that out too, so let's go ahead and build this. I remember old Japanese games that didn't tell you anything. This isn't long enough. Isn't a problem I've ever had. Oof. Hello, Ninja Link. Good morning. Hello, Bubblegum Lord. Hello, Chris. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. All right, character priestess. So this is just priestess, like so. Deal 5 poison damage in 1 run. This is not the real unlock condition, but I'm just putting that there. This should probably be... Let me change these real quick. This should be property hint, multi-line text. Same for this one. Okay, alrighty. So now in show characters, we are going to what? Public static character unlock definition resource, get character unlock resource for character ID. Okay. Var unlock resource is equal to get character resource for character ID. Okay, then we're going to go to our unlock item. And we're going to need to do public void set character unlock resource. If not is character unlocked. This is the unlock resource. Okay. I think that's fine. I think that's okay. This just needs to be ID here. We need to use the resource ID instead of the character ID, so it's a little bit confusing, but that's all right. That's all right. Let's not break this up here. Public void set character. Character definition resource, character definition resource. What is in my character definition resource? Okay, so I do have the scene here. Alrighty. So there's a couple of things that I need to do here. Just trying to think. Character definition resource. So let's set up the scene structure for this next, I guess. So unlock item. So we've got the card unlock placeholder. We've got the locked margin container, artifact margin container, artifact display placeholder. Let me look at my character marker. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Character select. I'm just trying to figure out where I'm setting up the bounding box. Here we go. So I may want to do this as well. Set up the bounding box so that the character can be nicely situated in the UI with a proper control width and all that stuff. But let's just do one step at a time here. So we've got the card unlock icon. Let's just do a new scene here. We'll do character unlock icon placeholder. Scenes, UI, unlock. Oh, I didn't want to call this placeholder. Oops. Character unlock icon. Let's just add a node 2D here. I don't know about this. Actually, let me see. Here comes a cat. Hello, TK. Welcome, welcome. The cat is being annoying. He's just running around the office right now. Let's counter-annoy him so he goes away. We're going to counter-annoy you. We're going to counter-annoy you. Do you want to leave yet? Do you want to leave yet? Nope, he's purring. He's purring. Because any attention is good attention. Right? Right, buddy? Here we go. What? All right, well, anyway, let's just add a script to this. Yeah, kitty. Let's add a script to this. Set character resource. Character resource. And what? Character, I think it's called character definition resource. Character definition resource. There we go. Okay. Let's grab a reference to that node. Node 2D. Add child. Character resource dot two character scene. I wonder if I could just, maybe I don't need a bounding box here. Maybe I can set this custom minimum size to something like 32, 48, something like that. We change the transform here. Is that going to be enough? If I instantiate my character priestess here, I'm still going to need to know the offset that needs to be done, and it shouldn't be at the bottom. Okay. All right, so we're going to need to figure out how to offset that, but for now, let's just fudge it a little bit. We'll put the character scene in here. I guess this would more appropriately be called the character instance. And then we'll say character instance dot position. Why is this just a regular node? I don't understand that. We'll do new vector 2, 8, and 32, I guess. I don't know. We'll just get it working and then we'll see what happens. Okay, so the unlock item here, set character, we're going to want to grab, and I want to set up this placeholder here. So character icon, character unlock icon. This can go here. Load as placeholder. Rename this to placeholder. Okay, and then access as unique name. This needs to be an instance placeholder. Character unlock icon placeholder. Okay. Character icon is equal to character unlock icon placeholder, create instance as character unlock icon. Character icon dot visible is equal to true. Character icon set character resource. All right. And then we go to our unlock menu here. If unlock resource is not equal to null, then what we're going to do is we're going to do unlock item. We need to create the unlock item in here. Unlock item dot set character unlock resource else set character. Okay, is that going to work? Let's figure it out. You often can't counter annoy pets. Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. I missed the entire playtest despite having 2 weeks to try it. I'm sorry, the Dollite. There will be another one. Okay, look at that. Now the problem is if this scrolls, that particle is probably going to be off, but that's all right. Okay, so we got artifacts, card packs, characters. So that works pretty good, I would say. There's some alignment issues here, but we can figure that out. This is going to be a problem. Why is that creating some space all of a sudden? Did I forget to hide something? Oh, I think that needs to be hidden as well. Meta progression, yeah, this is like the unlock screen. So this is going to show you everything that you've unlocked as well as the conditions for unlocking stuff. So anywhere there's this, question mark, that'll be stuff that's locked. So you can see that this character is locked as well. Okay. Let's change this one to, let's just do 48 by 48. That should work. Now, why isn't that working? I set the minimum size. Oh, I didn't set the minimum size. Minimum size, there we go. So I'm going to need to center the characters here for sure. And that is also not using the proper minimum size either. I don't have a custom minimum size for that. Well, I'm going to need to figure out how to get that alignment working properly, but that's all right. One thing at a time. So we got to get this centered now, the character centered. Which means that we're going to need to calculate the bounding box again. I may just make this an extension method here. I'll just slap it in here. Public get scene, get sprites bounding box. This dot node public static selectable character. We're gonna grab this. Okay. Character scene. Get sprites bounding box. Okay, perfect. All right. So now in the character unlock icon here, set character resource, character instance. So we'll get the bounding box of those sprites, and then what we need to do is we need to take the remaining width is equal to custom minimum size dot x minus character bounding box dot size dot x. Okay. Remaining height. We're going to say character instance dot position is equal to new vector 2. Is that right? No, this is not right. I don't think that's right anyway. I just started your multiplayer course, was curious your overall thoughts on having a server authoritative structure for a co-op game. I know server authority is the norm, but it comes with a lot of baggage, client prediction rollback, etc. Well, in the course we do a server authoritative structure, and the main reason why we did that is because I think most people have the question of like, how do I make it server authoritative? So we're kind of doing a server authoritative structure in that all the clients will broadcast their inputs to the server, and the server is the one actually running the game, the simulation, and it's rebroadcasting all of the state changes back out to all the clients. And a state change in this context would just be, it would be stuff like, you know, what is the position of everything, what are the rotations of everything, so on and so forth. So that's the reason why we do that in the course. I would say generally speaking, for just a co-op game that you're just going to invite friends to, probably you could just do client side, like peer-to-peer, where each client has their own authority and then broadcasts their state to the other clients. But there are certain considerations to make there as well. For instance, if you're making like a physics-based friend slop game, right? Like you see these other friend party games that are physics-based, you probably need to have one person acting as the authority for the physics simulation. You're not going to be able to do like peer-to-peer physics, I don't think, very easily. So you still may want a server authoritative architecture depending on what kind of co-op game you're making. But generally speaking, I would say, yeah, you could probably just do peer-to-peer for like a 1 to 4 player game, and that would be fine. Basically, the core question is, can you tolerate cheating, right? If you're going to have matchmaking where random strangers can connect to each other, then probably your tolerance for cheating is going to be basically 0. But if your game is designed around people playing with other people that they know, that they explicitly invite to their game, then yeah, probably you could tolerate that a bit more. So it's entirely up to you, I would say, entirely up to what your game is doing. You're welcome, Priceless. You are welcome. So now I gotta get this bounding box working. Oh wait. No, that's right. Get sprites bounding box. This is definitely not true, I don't think. Don't want to do that. My character is not showing up anymore. Ah, yeah. Just trying to think of how this bounding box is supposed to work here. I gotta center the player inside of that little window. Give me 1 second here. I'm just gonna sketch this up so I can actually know what's going on here. It's a little bit tricky because I need to center, so the character necromancer, the root position is here. So this bounding box, the bounding box is going to look like this kind of. So it's going to have a negative Y and a negative X top left position. So I think this is going to need to be something like... And then the height... This height calculation is going to be wrong. Oh wait, this needs to be position. Maybe that will work. Let's take a look. So setting the position local to the bounding box, maybe outside the window because... Oh, that's wrong. Because your Y position is being set to a positive number with remaining height. Well, the bounding box is going to be local, yes, to the character scene, this necromancer scene here. Wait, why is that not working at all? Remaining width. Custom minimum size.x minus character. So that's getting the difference of the character bounding box size and the custom minimum size. Taking the remaining width divided by 2. Why is that not working? Okay, let's just... It's pushing it over too much. Why is that happening? Oops, wrong scene. That is like omega wrong. That is completely wrong. Why is it going that far away? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Let me see if the bounding box is even correct. Is the node attribute tag built into Godot, or did you write that custom? I wrote that, but it's available on GitHub. It's available on my GitHub. It's called Godot Utilities. I need to do this launch scene again. Show file, copy path. Paste this in here. Okay. Oh yeah, that's not even close to correct. The character bounding box is even close to correct. Why is that so wrong? Oh, I guess it's using global position. Is there a reason why it's using global position? Right, it's bounding box. So this was used in character selector. Okay, so I'm doing this before I add the child, so I guess that makes sense. So I should probably just do the bounding box first. The global position obviously gets all messed up when it's actually in the tree, but I think the global position just returns sort of like the absolute position. There we go, that seems reasonable, I guess. The height is still wrong, but I think, did I change that height? Remaining height. Now, why is this one wrong? Let me see. We'll just grab the debug value again. Characters, character bounding box. It's 28 by 29, right, okay. So what is this actually doing? So this should be correct. So if we look at the remaining height, remaining width. Wait. Yeah, that's right. So our position is negative 11, so this is setting 11 plus remaining width. And then this position, Y, is negative 28. Honestly, I don't know if we want to do that. I think this should just be... This should just be adding the size, so the width, so move it over the width, and then we need to... Actually, this should be half the size. And then minus remaining width divided by 2. Was that right? And then this position should just be character bounding box size dot y plus remaining height divided by 2. I think that's right. I don't know. We'll see. The elementary math, it gets you every time. It'll get you every time. Okay, the Y looks good. The X position does not look good. I guess I just did this wrong too. What in the heck? Oh, I guess there's a problem here. Yeah, so the problem is that the character is centered within the bounding box. The character is centered within the bounding box. So we need to shift it over by half and then yeah, I thought I had it right here, but maybe I didn't. Character centered within the bounding box, so I shift the character over by bounding box divided by 2. Oh, there we go. Did I not have that before? What was this code before that it wasn't working? Oh, minus remaining width. I see. I used the wrong sign. Okay, anyway, the character is centered in the box now. Jeepers. C# maxing in VS Code, frame mogging us in Godot. Yeah, I guess so. Hello, Locutus. Welcome. Yeah, I got it. Thank you. We're good now. Now there's a challenge of getting this to be the same size as everything else, but let's just do this real quick. Project settings, debug, ignore unlocks. Let's see if this shows the priestess character now. There we go. So we've got our 2 characters that are in the game currently being shown in there. Now this looks a little bit off too. These look like these are a little bit farther up than they should be. Why is that, I wonder? I don't know. I will play with that later. What is that? Is that a frog? I don't know what that is. Anyway. So we're getting there. We are getting there. All right, well, so all the major types of unlocks are basically functional now, so that's good. Shouldn't the Y position be minus remaining height since the Y axis goes down? I don't think so, because I'm trying to push it down, right? So if I push it down by the bounding box size, if I've got a 48 by 48 area that I'm trying to center it in, and the bounding box size is 24, I'm going to push it down by 24 pixels, but then in order to make it centered vertically, I need to push it down by half of the remaining height, right? I think minus will just shift it up. But I could be wrong. Let's see. Yeah. So that just shifts it up. So it actually needs to shift down more than it is, but I think this math is correct. So I don't know why it's looking off-centered. That could just be a visual weight kind of thing. It could be the case that these are equal, but the character just doesn't look grounded enough. So I could just do like +4 here. Yeah, for some reason that feels a little bit more centered, or maybe I'll just do +2. I don't know, it's possible my math is wrong, possible it just looks weird. Anyway. Should it be based on the center of the character itself? No, it's the character bounding box is not based on the character center. I think it's fine. I think we got it. I think we got it. All right, what else should we do now? Obviously, I need to do a bunch of art for this. Still need to figure out what to do with the flavor text. Got to get this to be sensibly oriented. Actually, this is actually going to look kind of weird. So you see how these cells are different sizes here? So this is like skinnier, this is fatter. That doesn't look great. Ideally, they would all be the same size, but then that's going to be a problem with the card packs because they're going to have different grid sizes. Actually, they're not going to have different grid sizes. Never mind. I think I made them so that they're all 3 cells wide. So really it's just the characters that needs to have that standardized. But that's an entirely different scene. That lock, or it's not an entirely different scene, but it is a different node here. So this locked margin container here, I need a way of setting this size to be the same as the character unlock size. Custom minimum size. I mean, it's just 48 by 48. So, I mean, one way to do it is just to set that myself. So locked margin container visible true, locked margin container dot custom minimum size is equal to new vector 2. It's not the best thing in the world to do, but it's probably okay in this case. It's probably okay in this case. Oh, but it's not centered now. Oops. How are we going to fix that? Let's see. I guess this would have to just be container sizing, transform, horizontal shrink center. And it will just make vertical shrink center as well. I think that's how it's going to go. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Ta-da! Hard coding fixes all problems, everybody. We just hard code everything that we need, and that will not come back to bite us at all. Alright, so the point is, like, all of this UI functionality is now set up. I can toggle between these things. Obviously, there's a bunch of missing quality of life stuff, like I don't know which one I currently have selected, which category I currently have selected. So that's something that needs to be addressed. The art is obviously not finished here. I'm going to need to do a lot more decoration down the sides and do highlighting and stuff. Change this little title panel a bit, maybe to match these buttons more. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So once this is all filled out with some shading and whatnot, I think it'll look really nice. And then what I might do as well is I might do some kind of pattern here, some kind of repeating pattern to just fill in this empty space. Try to make it look as much like a stone panel as possible with some cathedral-esque elements, I would say. But I think that's good progress on that. So we'll just pause working on that for now, and we'll find something else to do. I did end up finishing the pot artifact last night as well. So again, the pot artifact gives you a chance that alchemical reagents will apply multiple times. So I got that working. We'll take a look at the backlog here to see what else needs to be done. But yeah, this is going to be... I'm hoping that I can get this UI panel done by the end of the week. That would be nice. And by done, I mean like have all the shading done, have all that quality of life stuff done, and also have it actually in the game where I can click on something to bring that window up. The encyclopedia, that's going to be a different effort. I'm going to start building that out as well. I do need to figure out what I'm going to do with cards that are unlocked but are not part of card packs. Because again, what I want to do is basically show every card is locked until you acquire it for the first time. So either you put it in your inventory or you sell it or whatever. I don't think it's going to be appropriate to put that in here though, because these are specific packs of cards that you can unlock. So maybe the cards will just go into like the encyclopedia. Just have a list of all the cards in the game and whether you've unlocked them or not. But yeah, anyway. I think we're looking good here. All right, let's take a look at the board here. I got that done. I think this is done. Okay. What should we work on? The other big thing that I need to work on is the map. So the map navigation is not super compelling right now. And it's also not super intentional. Like, you don't really know that you're supposed to go to the north. So I was thinking of a couple of ways of addressing that. One radical change could be to make it more like Slay the Spire, where you can really only go up. I do like the player being able to like navigate around, but that is one option to test. The other option I was thinking is that making the map more radial. So instead of the regions being stacked vertically on top of each other, and you just progress northward, they could be in different areas radially around the start point. So you could start in the center, and then like to the north is the mountain region, to the south is like the peasant region. I don't know what that region is called. So make them radial around the start, so you can basically go anywhere to start with, but then that would require also scaling the difficulty based on the notoriety penalty that you have. So I was thinking, you know, maybe the map, instead of forcing the boss on you when the notoriety penalty hits 100, maybe the notoriety bar filling up, all that does is just increases the difficulty of the map. And then so you're basically a race against time. Like, you need to defeat all the bosses before you get, before the map gets out of control in terms of its power level. I don't know if I like that solution though. So I've just been noodling some different ways of improving the map. Peasant Zone Act 1, yeah. I'm just kind of like at a loss right now of how I should improve the map from my gameplay standpoint. Because ideally what I want to do is I want to make the map as strategically as important as your actual build. So where you go and what nodes you visit and when should be big decisions in the same way that how you put your build together is a big decision. And I just don't think it's accomplishing that very well right now. Hello, Jasper. Have anyone heard of Zombies Ate My Friends? I have not. I've not heard of that. It was a mobile game that existed in 2013. Anyway, I'll probably start working on the map changes at some point this week, but I need to do some brainstorming on that because I just don't know which direction to take that. I'm trying to think of like something Slay the Spire-esque would be better, with allowing certain amounts of backtracking too. But I don't know. Has a original soundtrack, but my favorite one is Safe House. Interesting. Anyway, let's figure out something fun to do though. Maybe we'll do another card. Let's take a look. Card inspection tool. Disney removed it a long time ago, but it deserves better, like mods or a sequel. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really play mobile games, so I wouldn't know about it. I also wouldn't play it if it got remade. Mobile games are not for me. What about having the different areas separated in different scenes, and after a boss fight there's a button to teleport to the next zone? Could allow the player to continue moving around the current map, but with a penalty that increases the longer they linger. Okay, Sharima, hi. Yeah, I thought about doing that. I do like the map being like one giant interconnected thing. I think that's really cool. It gives a kind of like permanence to the run that I think is attractive, but if it's not working that well, then I think my big problem is that the map is all interconnected. You can visit everywhere, but once you clear a region, there's no reason to go back to the region, and so that's just kind of like eating up space. So what I liked about the radial idea is this idea that you could go back and revisit regions, but they would just be increased in power level. But if I don't do that, then yeah, maybe it makes sense to not make the map a giant interconnected thing, and then you just have different regions, you know what I mean? Like the different scenes that you teleport to, like you said. I don't know. I'll have to play around with that. All right, anyway, let's take a look at what cards we're missing here. Let's look at ally cards. We have plenty of fire, plenty of poison. I think what we're still missing is we're still missing some weapons and some relics. I did add this stone sword here. Maybe I showed this on stream, I don't remember. I think I did. So we've got the stone hue, which is a relic weapon. So that fills the need of both relic and weapon, obviously. But we definitely need more relics and more weapons. We could also work on a reagent. We've got plenty of minions at the moment. We've got plenty of alchemical at the moment. Somebody suggested at some point like a crystal ball. I think that might be fun to do. Did I write that down? Yeah, we did. Maybe we'll do a crystal ball. And that can just be a relic. We'll give it some kind of fancy name or something. Is the notoriety penalty variable? Like walking past a town penalizes you more, but some places with attractive rewards are close to towns and whatnot? It is variable, but it's just a random variation. It doesn't have any, like, there's no rhyme or reason behind the variation. It just varies between like 3 and 8 or something like that. What about a weapon with swarm? That's a good one. Yeah, that could work. But yeah, notoriety penalty. Maybe there's a way to make notoriety penalty a little bit more interesting as well. Like I said, I need to brainstorm. I need to just sit down and like note all of the things that are wrong with it and come up with potential solutions. I think there's a way to finesse this. I think there's a way to keep the pattern that I have in terms of like the massively explorable map, but just make it like really hone it in so that it's super fun to move around and give the player the potential to visit old regions and stuff. I mean, I could potentially just change the checkpoint system and just create like strongholds instead. That you have to like seek out and find. So it puts more of an emphasis on exploration. So right now you know that the checkpoints are just to the north, right? But let's say that you don't necessarily know where the stronghold is in the region. So now you have to balance between gathering power, but also like locating the stronghold. And if you focus too much on like gathering a bunch of power and not enough on going and finding the stronghold, then you could end up in a situation where like your fights are becoming more difficult than they need to be, something like that. I think there's some opportunities here to think about this a little bit differently. But yeah, we'll see. We will see. Hello, I code for food. Are you working on another course? Not at the moment, no. My primary focus right now is getting Alchemortis finished and published. So there will not be another course released or worked on between now and the release of Alchemortis. And if Alchemortis does well, then there probably won't be another course ever again. Sorry to say, but we will see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and then when I come back, we are going to make a crystal ball. And the crystal ball is going to be a relic. So we'll see how it goes. Could do something like Risk of Rain. The longer the run, the harder the game. It makes you balance your build and your clear speed. Yeah, something like that I think would be good. I was also kind of thinking along the lines of Raven's Watch. So Raven's Watch is a roguelite action game where you've got like 15 minutes on each map, and you get thrust into the boss fight after 15 minutes. And so your entire run is basically spent gathering as much power as quickly as possible. And you can trigger the boss fight early if you're ready, but if you aren't ready, you just get thrown into the boss fight. Like, you can't take your time. And so trying to do an analog of that, but with a turn-based system, or with a system that's based on like, you know, it's an auto battler, it's not timed. So that's where the notoriety penalty comes in. But then Yeah, I don't know. We'll teach for double quarter pounders, yeah. I'm going to brainstorm it today and then see if I can come up with something clever for the map. And then if I do, then we'll work on that this week on the streams. But anyway, I'll be right back in 3 minutes and we will continue on. Okay, let's get working on the crystal ball. I'm looking forward to this actually because I think it's going to be cool. Now the question is, do we just make it a 1x1? Let's see, do we have 1x1 relics? We have 2, 3 1x1 relics. And we've got, oh wait, is this a relic? Oh, these are relics. Okay. And we've actually got more 2x2 relics than we have 1x1 relics. Okay, so the next question is, can I make a crystal ball in a 1x1 card? Well, there's only one way to find out. What if notoriety serves as a scale for how prepared each boss is? And then there's a threshold where you're so notorious that they force a fight being well prepared. Yeah, that can work. Yeah. I think that's kind of along the lines of what I was thinking, is that maybe instead of the notoriety penalty, like the notoriety level forcing you into a boss fight immediately, it just either strengthens the boss or strengthens all of the nodes or like all the combats. So the longer you stay out and about without defeating a boss, the harder and harder everything becomes. So I think that could work, but yeah, I don't know. That runs into issues too of like the seeded run stuff that I was talking about, where if you have the same seed as another player, you should generally have the same experience. So what does strengthening the boards mean? Do I just multiply out their health and increase some of the card tiers on the board? Or do I just actually remake the board so that there's more cards on them? You know? Questions. Anyway, let's open up. How do I keep not saving this? Okay. Crystal ball. Let's open this up. Assets, card, crystal ball. Okay, load default palette. Lock this. Alrighty, let's just go ahead with this. I don't know how to draw a crystal ball. This is going to be actually kind of interesting. Let's do one that's a little bit smaller than that. I think that's the same exact size. Okay. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, it's really hard to draw glass stuff, generally speaking. For me, anyway. I'm gonna try a different approach to this. Okay. That does not look terrible, actually. But I'm trying to... Maybe that something like that works. We do this over here. That doesn't look terrible. Oops. Yeah, you know what? I don't think I have, I don't have too many complaints about that, actually. Maybe I'll just fill all this in with blue instead of black. I might be able to do something like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that looks bad. I'm just messing around with some colors now. This here, I don't know about that. I think it's probably fine. It looks fine from a distance. Now, obviously, I'm going to need to do some kind of like holder for it, I guess. I don't know what you would call it. A stand? I do think I probably want... want it to come up like that, and then... Let's see. That obstructs too much of the actual ball part of it. Maybe something like that is okay. Maybe. So far, so good. It's the right shape for a ball. There you go, yeah. I think the edge of the glass is usually darker than the inside. Well, we'll see. I think it's all right the way it is. I think it looks good. Thank you. I think it's okay. For a 1x1 card, I think it's decent. I might move this up, though. No. Keep it down. Merge down. Okay. Let's see how it looks in game. Project settings. Test player cards. Crystal ball. And then we wait 5 years for it to build. Yeah, I think that looks decent. Let's see. Might make a little bit more of a change here. I don't quite get the reflection color being the same as the socket it's in. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean by socket. The red inside the blue orb is the same as the holdy thing below it. Oh, I see. Well, it's not really supposed to be a reflection. It's supposed to be more like a refraction. But if it's not clear, then we can get rid of that. There's a problem with glass, is that the light goes through it weirdly, and it's hard for me at least, to communicate that through the art. But oh well. We'll just call it good for now. I think it does the job. All right, let's do the fun part. Well, that was the fun part, but let's also give it an ability. So this is a relic. Let's give it a low turn cooldown. 6, and then relic. Okay, crystal ball. What do we want the crystal ball to do? What do we want it to do? Let's take a look at our other relic abilities real quick. Probably just give it one ability here. Let's see. So we've got healing, we've got bleed, we've got healing, preserve damage, projectile at ritual cards deal 8 damage. We've got preserve, grimoire, applies all these different effects. Crystal ball could... It could do like a reduced turn cooldown, I guess. I don't think you give yourself enough credit for your art skills. I'm always impressed with how you're able to whip up a new really cool art asset in a matter of minutes. Well, thank you, TK. I appreciate that. I'm still learning, for sure. Still learning, but... Definitely better than I was. And I think, like, look, I think the crystal ball is not perfect, for example, but I definitely think it's serviceable. Like, I wouldn't put it in the game if I didn't think it was, like, good enough. But there's definitely room for improvement, for sure. Definitely room for improvement. What do we want this crystal ball to do? I guess we can make it reduce turn cooldown. I mean, we could give it, like, speed. Let's see, what do we have for speed? Reduces remaining turns of one random allied minion. Crystal ball's like future-oriented stuff, right? Seeing into the future, so I figured turn cooldown might be a good one. So our turn cooldown abilities currently are both minion related. So I could do a turn cooldown that's related to maybe other relics. We could do that, maybe. Reduces remaining turns of adjacent allied minion cards by 2. I think it fits the theme and is immediately recognizable. That's all that matters. Yeah, I think so. I think that's right. Let's do reduced turn cooldown of relic. Maybe relic and ritual cards. Maybe we'll give it a weird query direction as well. So let me look at my incense here. Ability builder speed. Let's give the crystal ball kind of a strong speed ability. So let's do ability builder dot speed. Let's give it 4. Query target provider. And we're going to set this up. Board inventory component. Let's do something interesting. We have bottom adjacent, bottom edge, down. Let's do right. Yeah, let's do right. And then we'll do ritual or card tag dot relic. Okay, let's see how that looks. Hello, aim for the head. Welcome, welcome. Is your UI pixel perfect, or do you use canvas items mode sub viewport? It's pixel perfect in the sense that I'm just using the window resolution for all my UI. So the window is 640 by 360. And all the art, all of the UI is just made for that scale. So I'm not doing anything with sub viewports. I'm not doing anything with, you know, like multiple resolutions. It's all just one resolution. So we've got relic and ritual cards to the right by 4. This is a relic. So yeah, so I should be able to do this, unlock that and put this here. And if we go to our training dummy here, this should dramatically speed up that sword. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I think that works. The nice thing about this ability system is that I can take abilities that already exist and just add different like query parameters to them. So like what tags they do and like what the query direction is. And that's basically like a unique ability, right? So it's still functionally the same as the other speed abilities in the game, but it's different in the sense that it targets things differently. So that's nice about the ability system is I don't have to come up with a brand new like ability idea every time. I just have to do something that hasn't been done before. So there's all kinds of combinations that I could do. And I'm trying to do that. I'm trying not to give, like obviously some cards are going to have fire and damage and shield, and there's going to be a bunch of those shared abilities for sure. But I'm trying to make at least everything, or I'm trying to make most of the cards have some kind of unique ability that won't be exactly the same as any other card. Because otherwise, then there's no point of having all different kinds of cards, right? Like, if I only had like a grand total of 20 different abilities in the game, then there would be no sense in having 300 or 400 cards. But yeah, I think it's working good. I think it's working good. We plan to make the game a multiplayer mode soon. No, there will be no multiplayer mode, at least at launch. I don't even know what multiplayer mode would look like. I was thinking about, like, if the game is successful, I think adding some kind of, like, multiplayer features might be cool. Just, like, light multiplayer features, though, like... Well, I don't even know, actually. I don't even know, but it could be an option. But I don't know if 2 players could play this at the same time. I don't know how that would work. Very cool, looks awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy with how everything is turning out. Okay, so we need to add flavor text for that. So let me write that down before I forget. Flavor text. Do you guys want to do another card, or do you want to do an artifact? Content is always a useful use of time because I'm going to have the content by the time the game releases. So when I don't really know what to do on stream, or when I'm not clear on like how I'm going to fix my existing systems, adding new content is always a good option. Maybe you could add a system to trade cards with other players at something along those lines. Yeah, that could be cool for sure. I was thinking something like if a player dies, then that could create a node in your game where like, oh, here's a fallen hero gravesite or whatever, and the gravesite would contain basically the entire player's board, including like all the cards that they alchemize and stuff. So you go there and like you find, you know, this alchemized card that the player died with, and you can just take that and use it. Something like that could be really cool. For sure. I don't want to do any like PvP stuff because then I'd have to deal with like anti-cheat and everything, but you know, like someone dies and then you get to take a peek at their inventory and take like one thing from their inventory, right? That would be kind of cool. I vote on a weapon swarm card. All right, let's do it. What is a weapon that would be appropriate with swarm? Like I'm thinking like nunchucks, but that doesn't really fit into the theme too well. What would be an appropriate weapon with swarm? Whips would work as swarm. Oh, a whip. Yeah, we could do a whip. And that could fit into a weird card shape as well. Welcome back, Jackie Daytona. Good to see you. Yeah, let's do a whip. I don't know how I haven't thought of a whip yet. That is a good idea. We'll do a whip and we'll give it swarm, and we'll also make it a weird shape. What about a snakehead whip? Okay, all right. Let's do it. Let's do it. That sounds good to me. Let's take a look at my card inspector and just see. I need to add the ability to filter by weird shapes in here. But we could just take a look at the weapons here. So we already have a weapon that's this L shape. Unfortunately, I think that would probably be the best. This would be the best shape for a whip. Unfortunately, but that's okay. I mean, we could just do the reverse. We could flip this horizontally, and then the whip part could go to the left. Yeah, we could do that. So what would that be? That's a 2x2 with the bottom left missing. So with 0x, 1y missing. So that would be this one here. What about a 7 shape? A 7 shape. Oh, so you're saying like extend that down one more cell? I think that might be too large for a whip. It could go one more this way too. Yeah, I don't really have that kind of shape yet, but I think this is probably going to be appropriate for the whip. I'll have to keep in mind, yeah, mirror that, yeah. Rose whip would be a dope Yu Yu Hakusho reference. Hakasho reference, or a chain whip from Castlevania. Chain whip could be cool, but we're going to do the snakehead whip like TK suggested. Let's do a whip. Okay. Open file, assets, card, whip. Here we go. Load default palette, add a new layer, lock this one. Okay. So we're gonna have like the whip part here. Maybe I'll just do, smooth this out a little bit. Okay. So I think that's a general flow we'll do here. Now I gotta figure out how to do the snakehead part. Dang it. Why is this so hard? Well, we can probably make that work. We can probably make that work. Yeah. Anyway, let's then make this a little bit thicker. Maybe not. Oh, I'm doing this all in the wrong layer. That's okay. We'll just cut this, paste that there. Something like that could work. Hakusho. I just don't know what that is, so unfortunately. But that's alright. Give the snake a red tongue. I don't think I have a room for that. But it's a good idea. Good morning, Severus Snare, welcome. Hello, MKRD. I think you've already saw it in Discord, but my game got first place overall out of 184 entries. Yeah, congratulations, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't think a tongue is going to work here. It's either between the teeth or the fang or the tongue. I think the fang is probably better. Anyway. No, I don't like that. Did this on the wrong layer again? That's all right. I was wondering if I should flip this around. That probably looks better. Yeah, maybe. Trying to give it like a more violent snap motion, which may not be working that well, but I think that's probably all right. I can move this over a little bit. Yeah, something like that probably works. I think there's too much empty space in the bottom quadrant. This is my second ever game jam, so it feels awesome. It's an older anime, very good and thankfully short. It's a whippersnapper? It's a whip, yeah. You just hadn't started on the handle. Oh, yeah. I think it's good. I think in terms of filling up the space, it's decent. Do you have an ETA for the launch? I was just watching your first streams where you said it would take you 5 months. Yeah, no. 5 months from now is probably more realistic. What's cracking, gang? Snake sword. It's a snake whip. There's too much empty space on the right. I think it's okay. I mean, I could just fix that by just moving this over. I have cards with some empty space on them. It's okay. Doesn't need to be perfect. But I can just fill out some more of the space that way. Okay, anyway. Let's do some shading and then we will see. This part. This part is a little bit too straight, I think. Try to bring it over a little bit. No, I just made it straight again. Okay. Okay, that's probably all right. Anyway, let's see what we can do here. And maybe we'll just make this whole thing green, I guess. Probably this is going to end up being a poison. Probably this is going to end up being a poison thing, but let's just see what we can do here. We'll worry about that handle in a second. Yeah, maybe if we change this to make this green, make that blue. The handle, though, this will stay orange. Yeah, something like that. And then we can do this. Okay. Probably will actually make this darker in a lot of places. Use the green as the highlight. And then we can pepper in some of these darker parts here. Something like that. And we can also throw in some highlights here randomly. We're going to need that for the snake as well. It's all right. Once again, it's not, you know, not the most beautiful thing in the world, but it certainly works. Oh, whip, I see it now, yeah. It's a snakehead whip. Is Snake Whip its actual name? Yeah, we can make it that actual name. A snake that's also a sword would be terrifying, though, yeah. Try to parry it and it whips around, yeah. The music sounds straight out of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. IDKY, but the snake looks like a nerd. Yeah, I think the snake head is not the best. I don't really know what I'm doing wrong here. If I did more of like a front view, maybe it would look better, but probably not. No. I don't know how to draw snakes either. I think that shape is good, but then it's like, how do I make it actually look like a snake from this shape? Maybe we could bring the tongue in. Yeah, I don't know. Snakes are hard. It doesn't look right either. I mean, I don't necessarily need to give it like fangs or anything. It's not strictly necessary. It's not strictly necessary. Maybe try moving the fang to the right 1 pixel and add one below to the left to elongate the fang. No, the long fang doesn't look good. It does not look good. Justice for the snake nerd, it was charming, yeah. I think the teeth sticking out at the bottom, but it'd probably be more flat against the mouth, unless the mouth is open. Right. Neck is too thin. Well, it's a snake head whip. It's not a snake. Entirely. It's a whip with a snake head at the end of it. Maybe exaggerate with the mouth wide open, a longer fang. Your refusal to use references is commendable. Yeah, for snake nerds. See, the problem is I don't know how to draw a snake head to begin with, so I'm not going to be able to draw a snake with its mouth open. Come on! Why can't I paint? How does that happen? Maybe that'll work? Now the fangs have to go on the top. Yeah. This is just not going to work. This is not going to work. Nope. Not happening. Alright, we're going to keep what I had before. We'll just leave it like this for now. I can come back and revisit it later. Probably simplify it to look like barbs. Like the tip looks like snake teeth so it can latch onto a target. That's an interesting idea. I think it's serviceable for now. Okay. Whip. Oh, did I not export that? Let's export it. Boom. All right, let me just see how it looks in game first. We'll see how it looks in game. Can also add a kunai. Yeah, I can do that for sure. Oops. I forgot to set the dimensions. Excluded cells. 0, 1. I think it looks decent. I might just bring this up if I can. Dang it. Okay, maybe that. Okay. Well, it's not the best art day, but again, it's serviceable. I can always go back when I'm feeling particularly inspired and redraw or tweak these things. Okay. Let's edit this a little bit. Oops. Snakehead whip, 11 turn cooldown. This is a weapon. We're going to give it swarm. Maybe that's all we'll do is we'll just, well, it probably needs a couple of abilities, I suppose. So this is Snakehead whip. Let's do, let me look at how much bleed I have in the game. Card inspection tool. Let me look at bleed here. All right. Ally, bleed. I'm thinking about giving it poison and bleed, which I think is probably good. So if I go to my snakehead whip, oops, it's just called whip. Let's do ability builder dot swarm, ability builder dot poison 3. Ability builder. Bleed 2. Might not be strong enough, but let's see. Swarm, apply 3 poison, apply 2 bleed. How does that compare to the scythe? If I look at my bleed cards, ally, bleed. So this applies 3 bleed and deals 6 damage. This does 3 poison and applies 2 bleed. I think that's fine because that's going to do 5 poison damage. And it's got Swarm as well, so that's going to make it pretty powerful if you combine it with another Swarm card. We could give it a crit chance, increased crit chance as well. Let's do... Actually, we don't have a lot of cards that have a different crit multiplier, so let's give it a 2.0 crit multiplier and a... not 2.2 crit chance. So we'll bring some of its power up by increasing its crit multiplier and crit chance. I need to do that with more cards. Change the default crit multiplier on these things. But so this has a chance, a pretty decent chance of applying 6 poison and 4 bleed. So I think it's probably a little bit weaker at base than the Scythe, which is a similarly sized card, which is also a weapon. But it's got the Swarm, which makes it strong, and it also has a critical multiplier, so there we go. There we go, it crit right there. Okay, well, I can probably redraw that at some point, but we'll call that good for now. Thank you for the suggestion for the Snakehead Whip, that was cool. That was really cool. We'll add flavor text for it. Cool. 2 new cards knocked out. Can't complain about that. But I've been just going through, like, I have been tweaking stuff here and there. And so this card inspection tool is really nice because I could just look at all the cards and I can just pick out the things that are very obviously not up to par. Like, I think the slime needs to be redrawn. This Unholy Water needs to be redrawn. The Abomination, I think, either needs to be redrawn or just shaded a little bit differently. What else? So there's just a couple of things in here that I think I can just take another stab at for sure. But this tool is nice because I can see everything in context to each other and see like what obviously stands out as like a lower quality piece of art. I think this one probably needs some work, this Horn of Heroes. Zombie probably needs some work. Windmill. Torch. But yeah. So I'll just, I'll definitely be spending the time to fix a lot of these things up. But yeah. 2 new cards added to the game. There we go. All right. That'll be it for the stream today. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for being here. Very much appreciate it. I probably won't be streaming again today, but keep an eye on the Discord if I do. Like I said, I'm going to spend this afternoon thinking about how to update the map and make the map a little bit more interesting to traverse. And if I discover or if I figure out what direction I want to go with that, we'll probably be working on that this week. Still have the unlock stuff that's sort of in progress as well. That all needs to be finished. This is all like, again, I'm kind of in the stage now where I'm just like doing broad strokes changes. Just kind of get everything sort of in place so I can see the rough outlines of how all the systems are going to work and then just refine it through an iterative process. That's the approach I'm going to take anyway. We'll see how it works. But yeah, you can wishlist Alchemortis on Steam if you're interested. Would very much appreciate that. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support. We'll try to make sure the next playtest is a banger. So, going to be a lot of effort, but we're going to get it done. Anyway, take care, everybody. Have a good day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.